Hello, amazing people. How are you doing today? I'm finally a bit rested of all of those videos. So we are back with path number C of the Crucible Act 8, the normal difficulty. So the fight number 1 is going to be against a Vulture, and here the main problem is going to be the node, spaced armor, and electric defense. So you need one of those cosmic champions that don't take power burn damage or are immune to it. And if you also have a champion that is immune to power lock, that is going to work. So Galen is like a perfect counter to it because he's immune to power burn and I think power lock as well. So he can throw his specials quite easily, so he makes the fight super simple. Remember though, Vulture is going to have a debuff immunity whenever he throws a special, so take care whenever he is going to parry you, and messed that up right there, didn't I? Anyway, some other counters I've given you are all mostly cosmic champions that against tech champions get an extra ability to avoid power burn or power lock, so you can use them and they will help you out to get through this fight quite comfortably. And here I am just taking out Vulture with the Gallon, just 2 SP1s with the planetary mass, and before we know it, Vulture is going to be dead. Next up is going to be a very fun Gorr with Civil War Zone, Steady Preservance, Foresight, Cold Turkey, and special attack heal block. So he's going to get a bunch of buffs on him. So the best way to deal with this fight is to bring in champions that can take advantage of all of those buffs. Now I'm going to cheese him with a long shot. All I'm going to do is to parry and heavy and build up to an SP2 with some good karma and pure of heart, and then throw that SP2 out. And once there is that stagger on him, I'm going to throw more heavy attacks in his block so I can melt him away. I've given you quite a few options. You can cheese this one with Ronan especially because he's going to get so much buff. So if you want to check that out, check out my legendary path video. I've cheesed this fight with Ronan, so I hope that helps you out. But this time around, I've cheesed him with Longshot, so yeah. Longshot practically destroys him within 30 to 35 seconds. Fight number C is going to be against a Omega Sentinel. Now she is a robot and the nodes are going to be I can do this all day, boost buff and hard knock life, and also rich get richer. The way this works is every time Omega Sentinel gets armor up, you can remove it either with a heal or with the armor break, or if you hit with a critical, she does not take any damage from a critical and you remove the armor. But if you bring in an anti-robotic champion, you can negate all of that. So I'm using a Deathless Thanos here and he can apply all of those armor shatter. So that's going to help me. So all I'm going to do is to keep Omega Sentinel to an SP1 and just make sure that I block the hits from her so I can activate my Unstoppable and then keep the armor shatter on her and I can take her out quite quickly. Now next up is going to be a Dormammu. Now for Dormammu, the nodes are going to be brute force. So if you don't attack him for 6 seconds, you are going to take degen on yourself. There's also fight or flight, so after every 12 seconds, depending if you're near or further away from Dormammu, you or Dormammu is going to get unstoppable on them. So the name of the game here is stay away from them and let Dormammu get an unstoppable on him. The reason is because there's also even punishment. So when you are going to parry Dormammu, you're going to remove that unstoppable. And if you have that unstoppable on you, you're going to get a degen. So be careful about that. And science champions will get extra fury for the extra damage. So all that good stuff for the science champions. I've brought in Deathless She-Hulk. Plenty of other options I've given you who do good against Dormammu and that degen. So use them. Now this next fight does not look tricky to you, but it's a super tricky fight. Now you need to bring in shock champions because they will work the best against Attuma to control his hydration charges. If you don't have shock champions, then you can bring in also champions with Incinerate, but remember after 10 hydration charges, he goes Incinerate immune, so you have to be careful about that. Now the whole thing about this fight is do not bring in champions with armor break because that's going to give him extra power, and you will notice throughout the whole fight I did not parry him because whenever I will parry him, that will give him extra of those debuffs on him, reducing his ability accuracy, and his power gain will increase because of redouble determination. So we don't want to parry him and we just want to keep applying those shocks so he takes extra damage and all is well. Yes, of course, if he goes to 20 hydration charges, you parry him once, but if you parry him from the beginning of the fight and you take him up to 15 of those concussions, he is going to gain so much power and you're going to push him to an SP3. So that is the key for this fight. Just be careful about that. Next up is going to be a Mephisto. Now for Mephisto, it's advisable to bring a champion that is going to be Incinerate immune. In the first video, I did this fight with Void. Super fun fight. Good. You can easily take him out. Super slow with Void though. So this time around, to speed up the fight, I brought in a Human Torch. So I am gaining those smolder charges like crazy, and I'm keep pushing to Mephisto to an SP2. So I keep getting those smolder charges whenever I'm near him. But remember, you will need a striker for this fight. Make sure that you bring in a striker because there is striker vulnerability. The protection on Mephisto will only be removed if you use a striker. So make sure that you bring in a striker and have it ready in the beginning of the fight, and then have it ready at the end when he just activates his regen, and that should help you out get through Mephisto quite comfortably in the end. Alrighty, Venompool is up next. Is going to be Rush Down, Window of Opportunity, Stun, and Rust and Ruin and Imperial Defiance. So he is going to stun you if you try to parry him during that red cooldown underneath his health bar. Once it goes off of cooldown, then you can safely parry him. I would suggest bring in champions that have armor break immunity, because then you don't have to worry about the Rust and Ruin and all the extra damage. I just brought in a Sasquatch just for the fun of it, so I thought, you know what, I will just use him. And there we go. Here goes my SP2. I'm waiting for him to throw that special. I'm gonna go back in, and for all the extra power gain I'm getting, another SP2 again. So just a cycle I just repeated. Now if you have other champions that can use that are also immune to armor break, that your best counter is going to be Absman. You can also use Wiccan. You can also use the champions like Colossus. Now champions like Titania or Thing might not be the fastest options, but they can still get this fight done. Right? They might be slow, but they can still do this fight. Doom is a great option here. You can also use your Hercules, because Hercules is a get out of jail free card, because you get all of that invulnerability when you're at 0 health. So that will help you kill off the opponent, and you don't even have to worry about healing up, because on every fight you get back to full health. Kushala is also a great one here with all of those buffs. You can just nullify them. So all of those champions work super well. And if you're running willpower, you're going to heal up with all the armor breaks and everything. So basically bring in any mystic champion. I would suggest it's better if you bring in a champion that has armor break immunity. Otherwise any champion would work. And yeah, you should be able to get through this fight quite comfortably. I just brought in a Sasquatch just to have fun on this fight. Took me longer though. I tried to bring in champions that can finish the fight faster, so I can make the video shorter and I can give you as much value as possible. But this time around, it just took more time, so don't worry about that. Now next up is going to be an Anti-Venom. Now he is going to have a node polka dot power. Now apologies, on the first video that was the legendary run, I did give out a few options that didn't work. I didn't keep in mind about the polka dot power. That's the only way you're going to gain power. So I suggested Kate Bishop. That was not right. I mean, you can still get the fight done, but it will take forever. So yeah, that was a wrong suggestion, but I've reworked the suggestions here, and all of these champions are the one that easily apply bleeds, shock, incinerate and everything, and these are the options that should work super well against Anti-Venom. Now I've just used in my Okoi because she is great. She has shocks also, she has bleeds also, and she can just simply melt away the defenders quite easily, just building up to 1 SP2. And here we are with one big SP2, and with all of those bleeds and shock, Anti-Venom is just melting away. Just after the SP1, I'm gonna throw my own SP1, and that should be enough to take him out. Now next up is going to be tricky fight number 2 for this path. Now Knull is going to have power efficiency, so he is going to take less power to throw his specials. There's also going to be long distance eternity, so all the buffs on him, they will be paused unless you're near him. So if you by mistake give him an SP1 and he throws that SP1 and then he goes unblockable and stoppable, he is going to have that on him unless you are near him. So the name of the game is hold your block, use forward combos, and block again, and push him to an SP2. That is the best way. Now on SP2, you remember that he applies armor breaks, so I have brought in my absorbing man, and I'm going to use those armor breaks to my advantage, and I'm going to take out Knull. The best options are, of course, armor break champions by pushing him to an SP2. Wiccan, I have a lot of fun doing this fight. I've also had a lot of fun doing this fight with absorbing man. Pretty much any champion you can use that is armor break immune, but you have to push him to an SP2. Of course, champions like Thing will take a lot more time, so he should not be your first priority. Now moving on to the next fight, that is going to be fight number 10 against Thing with Stun Reflection, Poison and Incinerate, Foresight and Calcify. So whenever he will throw a special thing, he will apply Calcify debuffs on you, and if you have Willpower running and he applies more Calcifies on you, he is going to reverse your regen. Second one is going to be Sun Reflect, so there is going to be Sun Reflect shield on him, just like War. Node number 49, you have to either apply Incinerate or apply a poison to disable that. There's also going to be Foresight, so if you are able to intercept the opponent, you are going to get a Fury that will increase your damage by 15% for I think 6 seconds, like a short duration. You can deal more damage there, and also there's going to be extra health, and defender is going to be aggressive. Now the hardest path here is to manage the rock stacks and still be able to deal damage, because rock stacks and then you have to hit and block if he doesn't have a special attack, and then you in between you might forget that you cannot parry him because of stun reflection. The fight becomes super annoying to deal with. But then again, I can always bring my testy Elsa Bloodstone, and she can really rip thing apart. Now I've given you quite a few options, all of them can work out here. The only thing is you have to make sure that you apply those Incinerate and Poisons and practice your specials, how many hits they're going to be. Like for example, I know Elsa Bloodstone SP1 is going to be 5 hits. So I'm gonna always throw that whenever Thing is going to have 10 rock stacks on him, so exactly 15 I can finish my special attack. So yeah, just make sure that you know the special attack count and you can play around Thing. It's going to be a difficult fight, it's not going to be an easy one, but it's the one that is doable, that purely depends on the skill. Next up is going to be a Misty Knight with the nodes Hunter Sense, the best defense, Dizzy, and Power of Will. Now this fight is all about the evade from Misty Knight and then the special attacks and the subsequent damage from damage over time. So you simply bring in a champion that can bypass the evade and you're good to go. So I'm just having fun. I think the first time I did this fight, I brought in my Onslaught and he works super well. But for this time around, I'm just bringing in Cyclops, and the whole thing is to build up to an SP3 with at least 15 of those cruelties, and till then keep baiting the SP1s out from Misty Knight and then throw my special attacks back to back and do all of that damage. Well, I do get hit here, but that's okay. So just slowly building up, getting my precision up and getting my true sense up, and I think on the next combo I just go in and I do my SP2 and deal quite a bit of damage, and I'm able to take her out. I think I was planning on 15. At 15 I can start throwing my specials, and once you start throwing your specials, all the damage is more than enough to take out any defender. So here we go. Another SP1, another SP1, and she's down to 17% just before you know it. And then the last few hits to take her down from 1%, and there she goes, and we are on to the next fight. Now this next fight is going to be the most annoying fight in all of this path, and again, it was a crazy time for me, a crazy day for me to make that legendary path. I missed a node here. The node is going to be Third Law. So anytime you get an unblockable, unstoppable, or indestructible, it is shared by Wong. And I mistakenly gave out Titania as a counter, so please do not use Titania. That is going to be a mistake. Apologies to the people who used it and got stuck there. Sometimes with so many counters, you're bound to miss something. So yeah. But then again, now you can use champions that don't have all of that but have some kind of power control. Or if you have immunity to nullify or stagger, that is going to help as well. So I'm just going to use my Spider Woman, And you also have to take care of those tiny little charges just below Wong's health bar. When they go at 90, those are energy damage that are returned back to you. So you have to make sure that you knock down Wong till then. Now, I've given you a bunch of other options you can use. Just avoid using Titania or Luke Cage or anybody that can get indestructible, unstoppable, or unblockable. That is going to make the fight more difficult. You can block the SP modes to avoid the unstoppable for Wong, but he will keep going unstoppable every now and then. Basically, it's a fight, you just have to grind it out. And if he throws a heavy attack, he's also going to gain power. So it is an annoying fight. It takes a bit of a while to get used to, but once you have that, you can get through it. Just make sure that this is the first fight that you plan for in the whole planner. Next up, fight number 13 is going to be a bishop with burnout, grudge, root or rooted, striker vulnerability, and gifted ability accuracy. Now for this one, just bring in any champion, any tech champion to be honest will be good. If you bring in an incinerate immune champion, that is going to help you much better. After every 12 seconds, if you're near the defender, you're going to be rooted, or if you're away from the defender is going to be rooted. I just brought in an Ironheart because she's super easy to play against a bishop. If you bring in an Ironheart, make sure that you activate your rupture pre-fight, and then the SP1s and SP2 don't matter. Even if they are unblockable, you can block them. You can use other champions as well. I've given you quite a few options. There are champions that are specifically for bishop. You just have to take care of the root or rooted and you should be good. And just like that, bishop is going to be taken down by Ironheart. And we are almost at the end of the path. The next fight is going to be Quicksilver. Now, just for the sake of it, I brought my rank 3 Serpent. And hindsight, I could have brought another champion that would have been faster, any skilled champion. And I was like, you know what? Let me use Serpent. There is true sense here, so he will not evade. And I will have just some fun with this fight. If you ask me, I would bring somebody like a Hit Monkey, or I will bring somebody like an Okwe or a Falcon, or a champion that can easily bypass the evade and can do a lot of crits. Those are the champions I would love to use against Quicksilver, but then again, this is for fun. I'm just using Serpent just to show that he can work as well. Just simply keep hitting him, take him to a corner, throw your specials in the block, they'll be unblockable, and Quicksilver is now going to have a fun time. Now, I think in the original video, I did this fight with Kate Bishop. I think she just destroyed with all of those cold snaps that stopped Quicksilver from evading. So this is one of the fights I got right in the earlier video. Again guys, if you are still haven't done this, watch all of these videos that I'm doing for the normal parts as well, and then jump onto the Excel planner. If you haven't seen the Excel planner, it's still in the description of this video as well. Check that out, get that Excel planner, and really plan your path before you jump into it. Right, on the legendary path, I think 96-97% of the counters I gave were right. Only like 2 or 3% were having a bit of issue with them. So I am fixing the Excel planner as soon as I get a comment and I feel like the fight is not done. Anyway, I'm thinking some of the comments that I've got that some fights are not doable, I'm gonna do them and just put up a video maybe, so that might help more people to use those champions as well. But we got time guys, we got 2 weeks more I think before the rebirth event finishes. So get in there, get this one done and get the rewards from the rebirth event. There's also going to be a release of mini Crucible numbers 3 and 4, so stay tuned for that. There's going to be a Cerastes boss and also a Glyhan boss that you have to take down with 3-star champions. I'm really excited and looking forward to it, so I hope you are too. And the final fight before the boss is going to be a Havok. Now there's going to be Scrap Wars, Fracture Guard, Armor Assault, Cosmic Ascendancy, and Level Headed. Now this fight is all about using your Cosmic champions and apply armor breaks on the opponent. Now I've got quite a few comments that some of the Cosmic champions, they don't work. For example, like Vision Arcus doesn't work. Now the way this works, when you apply an armor break on the opponent, you get an armor on yourself. So you have to constantly apply armors on the opponent and not parry him. That is going to be the most important part, because as soon as you parry him, he's going to apply an armor break on you. He's going to remove that armor from you. So if you're going to use a Vision Arcus, let me repeat, hit Havok in the block. Let that armor break set in on Havok so you can get that armor, and then you can go in and attack him. Although it will be a difficult fight, but it still will be doable. And also other cosmic champions will work too. But to make it super easy, don't worry about bringing any cosmic champion. Just bring in some tech champions that have easy access to armors, and you should be good. You don't have to worry about Havok's blast, and you can get through this fight quite comfortably. Although your damage will be reduced by 40% because of the node Cosmic Ascendancy level 3, but that's okay. In the long run, it's a much safer fight with the tech champions. And there you go, before you know it, Havok is down. And finally, we have Cerastes, probably my favorite boss. No, I think Glycon is. But yeah, he's very near that. Now, the way this works, you have to bring in a cosmic champion that have a lot of unique buffs, because that is going to help you. Now, how does that help? If you look at the 3 shields just below Cerastes' health bar, there are going to be 3 different shields that you can damage every time you knock down the opponent, or you use a striker, or you hit in the block. Every time you do that, 100 of those charges are reduced from either armor, depending on what, if you knock down or use a striker. Now, once you get it down to 0, you're going to armor break it. The goal here, as you see right now on the screen, is to armor break all 3 of those type of armors and put him into a stunned and wounded state, and then you can deal full amount of damage. Once he goes to the next phase, you intercept to push him into the next phase. So now I'm going to go in striker, heavy, bait out the SP1. Let's go. There we go, and then dash in 1 hit. Now, it's very important that you hit only once, otherwise it causes trouble. See, I hit twice. Now his armor is going to be locked, and that's going to be a problem. But the gameplay loop is it's very simple. You can start with 5-hit combo, then you will get spirit gain 300%, so your striker will always be ready. At the end of 5-hit combo, just use your striker, and then when he is stunned, use a heavy attack. By that time, you'll be able to push Iron Man Cerastes to an SP1. Once he throws an SP1, evade it and just dash in once, so he will auto block you, and that will be to give you 1 hit during the block. Now, this is essentially between all the phases. The charges, they just vary, so if you follow the same pattern, you should be good. So here we go, 5-hit combo, striker, heavy, get the SP1 and hit once in block. Now you rinse and repeat the same. Although I will use an SP2 to drain my power, but the special attacks don't really affect the 5 much. So striker, heavy, and already 2 armors are broken. At this, when I hit in the block, the armor will be broken again, and now I can go in and do my damage. To be honest, this is going to be the whole fight if you just follow that pattern, and whenever there is a phase ready, you just have to intercept to push him on to the next phase. So here we go again, just waiting for his SP1, hit in the block once. Now here's a mistake. I threw my special in his block and look at his armor charge up. So if I try to hit him now in his block, he's going to throw me back just like Yelena. So that's going to be a problem. There we go. So I have to wait for the armor to remove his charges, and now I have to go back again. But I was able to armor break him again because the other 2 armors were already broken, and I had to hit him in the block to make sure that I remove all of the charges, and I got him wounded. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much the name of the game. Once you go down to 10%, he goes on to the next phase, and on the next phase, you just have to keep away from him until he goes down to 0 and he is intimidated, at which point you just have to hit him in the block and you deal like 100,000 damage in 1 hit and you take him out. So let's check it out. Evading the SP1, got him wounded again. We're just gonna use my 5-hit combo into a striker, and then again into a 5-hit combo into an SP2. We're gonna do as much damage as possible and try to push him into the last phase. I think that is at 10%, but then his armor's reset, so we're going back in again. Just use the heavy attack, then 1 hit in the block. We're gonna go for the striker again, then a heavy attack, and you just have to follow that. Now this is the final phase. You just have to stay away from him because he's going to constantly gain power once you intercept him. So waiting on the intercept here. There we go. Now he's unstoppable. Just stay away from him, and once he gets to 0, you hit him in his block and you're good to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. Let me know if any counters were not right, and I'll see you on the next video that is going to be the final one on Act 8 Crucible. Bye!